Yo gang, someone was like looking for music video directors. Someone posted in the post and was saying music videos are dead and that they have like no value and that they'd be better off spending their money creating short form content, smaller form content for TikTok and stuff like that. And then I saw someone chimed in and said music videos still do have value and that people are still watching music videos from 20 years ago. Well, music videos can kind of be like that, can't they? Like, if you have an iconic music video that brands your band and brands your product, you can, use that branding like it's throughout everything, and everybody thinks about that. It's at the forefront of their mind when they think about you as an artist, right? So I sort of came to the conclusion that what's actually lost value is shit music videos, because no one needs a shit music video that makes them feel nothing, doesn't make them think anything about the artist. It doesn't have that doesn't have any value. Shit music videos have lost value and aren't really worth anything, and that artists sort of need these more kind of like iconic music videos that brand them and tell you about the artist and their vibe or their story or their narrative or their ideas that they have for their music. So I guess people should be thinking more about that, when wanting to create a visual instead of just a throwaway clip. You won't be watching clips from 25 years ago, but the iconic clips that you're watching now, you might still be watching in 20 years time. I'm on the rant now, got all sweaty thinking about it, had to tie my hair up. Good branding is valuable to everyone. Doesn't matter whether you're a musician, an artist, you could be a painter, whatever you are. Good branding is valuable, and if your music video sets up that branding for you, if your music video creates a world or a vibe or tells a story or just shows us a bloody color, like a color palette that you're going for, whatever it is, if your music video creates your branding and that branding is good and memorable and iconic, then the value isn't necessarily going to come from YouTube monetization and getting that money back into your pocket. The value comes from setting that brand up for your audience.
But what that guy says basically is that it doesn't make sense for a band to put a music video on YouTube, because on YouTube you're only gonna get, say, I don't know, 1 million to 5 million views if you're lucky, 20 if you're super famous. Right. But if you just, instead of investing, say, $10,000 on making a music video, you invest those $10,000 in making, say, 10 or 20 really, really amazing vertical reels. Then each one of those reels would have the same amount of views that you would get on YouTube, and you could be releasing them. You know what I mean? Right?
What do you think that guy would say? What do you think that guy would say to all of the artists that are signed underneath the Universal Music umbrella right now?
I don't think he touches on that. Yeah, that's why.
I would love to hear what he would say to those artists.
About it, man.
This is recent. This is like a week ago.
Ah, it's a week ago. Oh shit. Wait, so hang on. So let me get this straight.
So the band that I heard it from is a band from Australia. There's called Wind Waker. But
what about rappers and things like that? They have a ton of viral songs and
everything, bro. Everything. No remorse, no exclusion. The entire Universal catalog is gone from TikTok.
Some research into this. This sounds completely nuts, man.
Never to return.
But a lot of people. Yeah.
It's real. It's real, bro.
So this is very good for you and me then. It kind of is.
I mean, I feel bad for the artists that were using that platform to get traction, of course.
A lot of artists do that, actually. So many.
Yeah, dude, a lot of artists. So, it's a bummer for them, but, I've got to do more research. But I talked to a band that is signed underneath that umbrella, and they were like, yeah, it sucks for us, but, and apparently there's word that Sony is going to do the same thing. So, I mean, you lose, bro, what else is there?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just, that's the thing, man. I'm always battling this dilemma with short form content, as in you either make something that is a complete piece on YouTube that works as a really nice, consistent music video that you want to watch from beginning to end, right? Or a live show or something like that. And then there's all of this shorter form content that not all bands are good at doing by themselves. It's really hard to do, to tell a story.
I can't see artists employing people like me and you to make short form content for them. I just can't see, you know,
I tried it.
Doing it like a deal, and it's like, I'll make you 10 pieces of short form content, and we'll shoot it all over like a couple of days, and then I'll cut it down into these 10 pieces of content for the cost of one music video. Like, sure, maybe. I can't see a reality where that's a sustainable thing for the artists. Me, no, I don't.
Yeah,
I mean, like, I would, like, if bands sort of came to me and they asked for that, I would do it, you know, because at the end of the day, I'm a business and I like working with artists, right? So if they asked me for that, you know, I would come to some sort of an agreement with them. And sort of like what I'm sort of doing now, like, is, you know, music video budgets are getting smaller and smaller. You know, they're getting slashed, which, you know, is hard. And I sort of like say to artists, at least what I think and what I believe, is that if you're doing a release, you've got like an album coming out, you've got an EP coming out, right? That's obviously a big moment for an artist. You've spent money and a lot of time and a lot of love, blood, sweat, and tears in that release, right? So at least have your hero piece off that EP. That's gonna set the tone. So let's do a music video. It doesn't need to be some wild, huge concept, but at least let's set a tone for the piece. Let's do some world building, colors, branding, direction,
branding
and
for
vibes.
the album. Yeah.
Yep. For your first piece, and then let's figure out how we can make some cheaper content afterwards. Let's figure out how we can do some cheap, smaller videos that still slap and still, you know, have a vibe and sort of continue with the vibe that we've kind of set up.
That's the good approach.
But for your first piece, like, you got to put your best foot forward, right? And, you know, I had so many people message me today about that, you know, that story that I put up, man.
Yeah.
I had like 100 replies. It's probably the most replies I've ever got from an Instagram
it's
story.
It's a hot topic, man.
Yeah, but it was really interesting. Like, one of the dudes that was talking to me was a music marketing guy, right? And he does marketing and branding for bands and stuff like that. And he said, I don't even think that the problem is that music videos are dead. He said, it's that most artists cook the release. They don't know how to release a song. They don't know how to release a music video and make it pop and get views. They don't know how to...
They're running their own record label with their own socials. In the past, record labels would have the know-how, right? But it's not
in the
like...
past, but how many unsigned artists are massive these days? A lot of the bands that I work with that are huge. One of the artists that I work with is one of the biggest artists in Australia, and in terms of streaming and view count on YouTube, and he's independent, right? Like, he's completely independent. So independent artists are big. Like, that's the reality, right? And the marketing dude I was talking to was saying so many artists don't know how to release a music video. They don't know how to do a release schedule. They don't know how to release teasers, hype it up, you know, build an audience, supply and demand, and then sort of hit them with it. And they will just like drop it. You know what he said? It was really interesting. He said bands will fucking, you know, drop a teaser on like a Wednesday and then drop the music video on Friday. They put up picture and then put the music video up Friday and send it out into the world, and it gets no views, run no ads, do nothing for it. And
this is what everyone does here.
You know, yeah. And then they'll go, why are we not getting views?
Right.
Why is no one seeing our music video?
Right.
And he was like, newsflash, you're not fucking Drake, bro. You're not the Kid Laroi. Like, no one knows who you are. You've done nothing to promote this coming out, and now you're bummed. It's like, you're not a huge artist. You've got to create supply and demand. And
does this guy make workshops or something? Could I get in touch with this guy? He has a lot of shit to teach here, man.
100.
Get me in touch with him, please, man. Like, that would be great. I would love to meet the guy.
But I didn't see one person who said, oh man, I hate music videos.
Yeah,
music
I was going
videos
to ask, did you have anybody that disagree with you? Do you have anybody?
There was no one that said music videos suck,
right,
and I hate watching them, and I would prefer to watch fucking TikTok content. Not a single person said that. And I can't imagine that there's many people that would say that, because everyone likes watching music videos, man. Everyone. Like, you know, my dad likes watching music videos. Like, everyone's gonna want to watch like a good quality music video. I think what I said, like, shit music videos have lost value. So yeah, sure. Like, if your music video sucks, you know, there was kind of resurgence.
Like,
I'm
if you're gonna
say,
do it well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when sort of cameras like the A7 III came out, or
Yeah.
even like earlier than that, like what do you reckon, 5-6 years ago?
Yeah.
There was like this huge like resurgence of people being like, you know, I'm a videographer, I have an A7 III.
Oh, the 5D,
and a kit
man.
lens
5D and 7Ds back in like the time as well. Same thing. Yeah.
I have a fucking stick gimbal. I have a Ronin or a Zhiyun crane, right? And I'm just gonna hold this like this, and that's the music video, right? There was a huge, you know, there was so many of them, right? And like, sure, you know, everyone deserves to have a go, 100%. Not knocking anyone for trying, but it's like, I feel like that content, there's no value in that for an artist, because that's not a memorable piece for them. No one's really going to go, man, did you see this music video? This guy had a 5D on a Ronin, and it fucking blew my mind, and, you know, I'm going to remember it forever. Like, I don't think so. Like,
that's the thing, man. That's the thing. I get very consistently, like, especially with I mean, okay, with all kinds of bands and artists, rappers, whatever. People asking me, like, can we make like a cheap music video? Can we make something for like $200, $300, $500 or something like that? Just like go an afternoon and just put out something, and then I'm like, yeah, we could do that. It's not that I cannot do it, but then we're gonna end up doing something, as you say, not memorable, something that people won't really remember, something that people will watch once, and then it's just gonna go down into a black hole and it's gonna be forgotten, right? So what's really the point of doing something like this, right? But it's hard to. How do you approach? How do you answer to a band that asks you for something like that? What's the answer you give them? You know what I mean, right? Like, can we just make something cheaper, just so that we get some views and people remember that we're here? You know what I mean, right?
So, I mean, when I was coming up and I was like building my skill set, finding my style, finding my creative voice, yeah, sure. You know, I'd said yes to every job because I wanted to get good. But that was probably more of a, you know, like more of a me thing. Like I wanted to sort of grow and progress my own art, right?
Same reason I did so many hip hop music videos for free and stuff like that. I was like building up my experience and my skills as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I feel like bands do a lot of that kind of stuff. But when you sort of like reach a level, you know, and you want to kind of like go and play with the big boys, and you want to put your best foot forward, you want, you know, bookers to take you seriously, you want booking agents, managers, record labels, you want the fans to take you seriously, other bands that you might be interested in touring with, you want all those people to take you seriously. And it's like, well, you're not taking yourself seriously. You're not even investing in your own product. You're not investing in your own art. So how the fuck do you expect anyone else to invest in it? If you're not going to invest in your art, you're not going to invest in good visuals, good promo, good promotion. You're not going to invest in good recording quality. You're not going to invest in good production. You're not willing to do any of these things. So why the fuck should the fans, the booking agents, the managers, the record labels, why the fuck should these people invest in you when you won't invest in yourself?
Exactly. Yeah, and they should also be able to be open to like opportunities that come up, you know, people like lucky encounters you might have with people, like maybe like a really good sound engineer that is like, hey, I like your sound and I'm trying to learn how to like, or I'm trying to fine tune this technique to mix this type of music, and you guys make this kind of music. Maya like makes your album just for free, just for me to like expand my skill set. That's like a magical opportunity. That's like a gift coming from the sky, man. Like, take that stuff, you know?
Yeah,
you were saying
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, but I've done that sort of stuff when I've had like ideas that I don't know if they'll work or not. And I'll sort of say, hey, listen, I'm going to do this clip at a discounted rate, but I want this to be my creative vision. I want this to be, you know, my creative ideation. This is how we're going to do it. I'm not 100% sure if this is going to work, and I'm going to do a discounted rate for you. And I mean, 9 times out of 10, you know, it works because you make it work. You're passionate about it. You know, and like if you're passionate about something, you find a way.
And with bands with work with labels, how do you deal with them? Do you deal directly with the band, the label? How is it?
Well, it's different. It's different. Most of the time, if a band is signed to a label, I'm dealing with the artist directly, unless they have a manager, and then we usually kind of like bounce the ideas around in like an email chain with the manager. Some bands, I just deal with their manager. You know, it's different. It's different for a lot of artists.
Weird, like, man, because like, yeah, I wish I could. I don't know. When I'm thinking of an idea, I want to make something that's customized and personalized for that band. You know, like something that makes sense to the band. You know.
Yeah.
And
yeah. No, yeah, exactly what you say. I definitely work better with artists. Like, I
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
work-
Like every time I deal with the manager, it's kind of like, okay, provide me your plan or give me a proposal or something, and I send over a proposal. They might say yes or they might say no, and then I'm just like, what does the band say about this? Like,
Does the band like this idea? I
yeah,
don't want to
like, is
shoot it
this
for the
something
band
they
if they
would
hate
do?
it.
Like, are they okay with it? Like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's been those situations. And dude, I am just very honest. I'm very upfront. I'm very direct
Yeah.
in my language and the language that I
It's
use
necessary.
with people. And you know, some people don't like that. But it's the only way that I have found to do business and get a good result for artists is to be very direct
And straightforward with it.
I've said to managers in the past, I'm like, I deal better with creatives. I deal better with artists. I need to talk to the artist. If you can't arrange that, then, you know, we don't really have a relationship here. And, you know, some managers are like, cool, you do the creative, you go and do the creative with the artist and work that out, and then come and talk to me and I will do the logistics. So booking, flights, backline, you know, if we need accommodation, these other things. So, you know, we're in a situation like that now, which is, but it's worked really well. Like, we've got a big clip coming up for a big artist over here. They're managed by by a big time manager, and but it's worked really well. He's kind of done logistics, kind of analytical, budget, money side of things. I've worked with the band to do the creative. So, you know,
Nice.
Whatever works, right?
Yeah, I want to ask you, what would you tell to a band, right, that doesn't have much budget to make a music video and they just want to make something on the cheap, right? And you would say to invest in their own brand or something like that, but what about that's not like directly a possibility for them to, hey, I just find more money. I mean, everybody can afford these things.
You know, just because a clip's cheap doesn't mean that it can't be good. Like, I think a lot of people think, oh, well, it's cheap and therefore it is going to be shithouse. And I'm like, that's not true. When I'm talking about shit music videos, I'm talking about stuff that is not made with love. It's not made with passion.
Exactly.
You know, they haven't thought about the artist, or the artist hasn't thought about themselves. They've put no
like, it's
thought
just
into
a job for a filmmaking crew or whatever, you know, that kind of mentality to it. Yeah.
Happens all the time.
All the time, yeah.
So I would say just because a clip is cheap doesn't mean that it can't be good.
Exactly, especially
And,
if
like,
you do the
what-
releasing the music video part well.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And I mean, like, what that might require, it might require a little bit of thought from the band. It might require a little bit of thought from the video person. And like those two people together would be like, okay, listen, we don't have a lot of money to make this video, but we do have a really good idea. And if we just invest ourselves in the idea, we work hard on it, we wrangle together what we can as, you know, there's 4 or 5 people, we pull our resources, we can still make something that bangs, something that is visual, and something that brands us in a certain direction.
Exactly, it's a branding effort.
You just need to use your fucking brain. Like, and dude, there's a lot of bands, and I'm not like throwing shade, but there's a lot of bands that will sort of like come through to me and sort of shrug their shoulders and be like, well, we don't know, like, we just want to do something. We just want to fucking do something. And I'm like, bro, if you don't fucking know what you want and you don't give a fuck, how do you expect your audience to know? How do you expect your audience to give a fuck?
Exactly.
It's like, use your brain power, right? Put your heads together. What are we trying to say? How can we convey that? And if you're any sort of a good video person as well, you will be able to like offer guidance in that too. And that's what I'm doing with like a lot of artists. You know, we're still doing their big statement piece, and then they're like, we want to do some cheapies as well. And I'm like, okay, cool. How can we do a cheapie? What's your song about? Your song's about death? Okay, well, what do I know about death? What about we do this? What about we do that? What's your song about? Your song's about fire? Okay, well, we know how to start a fire. Like, you know, how can we do this cheap but still make it visual? Right. So there's definitely ways and means. A lot of the time, it's just going to require a little bit of thinking and maybe a little bit more elbow grease than what a lot of artists are willing to put in. And, you know, that's just a damn shame. But I mean, like some bands, you know, Alpha Wolf's a good example, right? We've both worked with Alpha Wolf, right?
They're great. They know how to do their shit, yeah.
So when I worked with Alpha Wolf, they were just on. And like this is when they were a lot smaller,
Same
like
experience.
nowhere near the size that they were now. But you know, I kind of said, I need this, this, and this, and they did it. They came with props. They came with a good can-do attitude. We were shooting until 2, 3 a.m., freezing temperatures. We were putting Lockie upside down. We covered him in like, yes, no, the one before that, it was called No Name.
Right.
But like the amount of work that this band put in, and nothing was too big a task, and they were so creatively invested and interested in making something good. And look at them now. Like, look at the size of the band now. They're doing
my
experience
making the live show video for them was like absolutely outstanding. Like man, like they're on point. They completely understood what we were going for. They saw the value in it, and they used it to their advantage. And wow,
100,
man, like
100.
Yeah, 100%. I would definitely put them as like so far my golden example of how to handle these things for sure. Yeah. I think their approach is really good. Yeah.
There is like, and unfortunately, a lot of the time it comes down to the individual, right? So like, you will sometimes have, you know, maybe a couple of people in a band. Maybe there's just one person in a band that is really in tune with how to do things. You know, really in tune how to brand it, or how to you know, how to release, or how to you know, the kind of the angle that they want to take on their releases. And there'll be, you know, 1 or 2 people that are really in tune with that. And you know, if you're that person, or you have that person in your band, fucking, like, that's a good thing, right?
That's what they do in Alpha Wolf. Like, they have Scotty doing the sound mixes, Fabian handling the social media, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. And unfortunately, if you're a band that doesn't have that person, or you yourself are not that person, and you want to be successful in the music industry, or you want to grow an audience, or you want to grow your band bigger than a hobby, unfortunately, you're going to need to fucking become that person, and you're going to need to learn how to become that person, and you're going to need to research. Okay, like you know, that's just what it is. Like, bro,
I didn't want to be my own executive producer, but I guess I fucking have to if I want to get paid.
I guess you have to be, bro. Right now, I'll tell you a personal thing. Right now, I'm on like, and I've told you this, like, I'm on a fitness journey. I'm on the weight loss journey, right? Yeah. And I was 121. I was 121 kilos right now. Today I clocked in at 100 and
holy shit,
kilos.
Man! How long that was?
3 months.
Damn, man, that's great fucking progress.
So that's
awesome.
So that's it. But you know what? I was a fucking fat guy, and I didn't want to be a fat guy. I'm not a fucking personal trainer. I'm not a nutritionist.
You just came from the gym, right? Like an hour ago or something?
I just came from the gym. But you know what?
Consistency.
I had to fucking I had to research. I had to learn about nutrition. I had to learn about weightlifting. I had to learn about cardio. I had to learn about intermittent fasting. So, you know, it was fucking hard, and I had to consume a lot of content and stuff. But it's like, you know what? I don't want to fucking be a fat person anymore. So what am I going to fucking do? I'm going to have to educate myself, and it's hard. Like, dude, you can't tell me that like learning how to fucking release a song is harder than fucking getting slim from being a fat dude. Like,
I don't think so.
It's just how fucking hungry you are, man. It's how much you want it. How much work are you willing to put in? And Alpha Wolf were willing to fucking put in as much work as they needed to.
Yeah.
And some bands, like some bands that I work with, are willing to put in the work, blood, sweat, and tears to become that artist.
Research as well. One of the things with Alpha Wolf is that at first they saw some of the work I did. I guess they liked it, or I guess they saw I was competent, and they were like, "Oh, let's give this a chance." Thanks to them giving me a chance, we came out of that project came out, and then these things can lead to another thing, and shit builds up, shit grows, right? It creates that brand, both for them as well as for me and everybody involved, and even the scene on its own as well. Just because people is like, oh, live in X country, oh wow, X country is putting on some really sick shows, I should go there, or whatever, you know, or bands should go there, you know. So yeah, I think this is great, And leading to that, I had like another really good one. So we were saying that Alpha Wolf's approach is very, very good. Sabian's super on top of it when it comes to social media, and he's doing a stellar job out of it, obviously. So how would you say that is the best way for a band to approach a music video creator as to create the best product possible? Like, what leads to the best music videos from the band's perspective?
Is that like to me like to someone like us? So if someone was to approach
Us or anybody else, in your particular case, like what music videos turned out the best depending on how the band approached you. For example, in my case, music videos I have to think about it, but for live videos, hands down, Alpha Wolf, because of what we just said. Sabian's on top of it. Alpha Wolf's very paying a lot of attention on that shit, so that led to a really great live music video because I could have a great sound mix. I had access for the full film crew. There were no issues or anything like that, you know, and it turned out great. It has 50,000 views on YouTube. It's fucking awesome, right? So this is what led to a good video, right? Thanks to the approach, in a way. A big percentage of it is the approach that Alpha Wolf had, specifically Sabian, right? So in your case, like what leads to a great music video?
I would say, for starters, the artist has to trust you. So they've got to trust you. And also the best results that I get are from artists that trust me, they like my vibe, they like, you know, what I do, and also they are willing to work hard for their art. Because I work the best, and I still also have great respect for hard workers. And if you're a hard worker, Sabian's a great example. I got so many great examples, man. I work with you know, Diamond Construct are literally willing to do anything that I fucking tell them to do. If I told Kynan that I wanted him to jump out of a fucking moving car, he would do it.
Damn.
You know, I work with an solo artist. I work with a solo artist, Jacob Lee, who again he's a huge artist here. He's a you know 700,000 million monthly listeners on Spotify. Wow. Literally will do anything that if I sort of say, this is a great shot, this is going to work, this is what I think we should do.
Like they really trust you on that.
I will do it. I will do it. Right. Yeah. So willing to do anything for your art, you know, like in contrast to that, and it's a shame, you know, I will work with some artists and I will say, are you willing to do this? Or like, you know, will you do this? And they will just be like, absolutely not. You know, we're not going to do that. We don't want to work hard. We'll be like, oh, I've got, you know, 3 or 4 locations lined up. You know, we're going to shoot here for a few hours, then we're going to shoot here for a few hours, and then we're going to shoot a shot here and da-da-da. And they're like, can we just do it all in one spot? We don't want to travel. We don't want to go there, right?
This happened to me a few times. You know, this happened to me a few times.
Dude, it gets to midnight and people are like, we're tired.
Yeah.
We're tired. We want to go home. It's like, bro, I'm fucking tired too. Do you think you're going to remember how tired you were when this music video has 1 million views?
Exactly.
Do you think you're going to give a fuck of whether you finished at midnight or whether you finished at 2 a.m. where this music video is fucking trending on YouTube? The answer is fucking no. Yep. You won't care.
You won't
Do you reckon you're going to care in 10 years time? It'll make a good fucking story to tell your friends in 10 years time, right? So yeah, that's another thing. Artists that are willing to work hard, they're willing to put in. Like, dude, I'm always the hardest working person in the room. But if you can match my energy, we're gonna make great art together. But if you're pushing against me, It's like, bro, I'm here trying to make you the best product that we possibly can with the budget, with the money, and with the things we have right here in front of us now.
Right.
And you're pushing against that. You're pushing against that.
Right. It doesn't work. So hard work, trust. Yeah, those are pretty much the 2 pillars, man. Keeping an open mind.
Yeah, dude, just be willing to fucking put in the effort, like to put it, and like and if you're not, you know, and I don't know, I haven't worked with like enormous fucking artists. Like I haven't worked with like, you know, huge artists like your Parkway Drives, your architects.
Would you want these to though?
I don't know how those sort of people operate. So, you know, I can't speak from, you know, the perspective of working with like those sort of people. But you know what? I don't reckon that you get to that size. I don't reckon that your band or your brand or your art gets that big unless you are willing to fucking sacrifice everything to fucking get it there, right? So you can't tell me that like Parkway Drive weren't willing to sacrifice absolutely everything to be the biggest metalcore band in the world, or to get to the size that they were. So I feel like, you know, if you were working with those guys and you were shooting, you were like, bro, I want you to jump out of a fucking airplane. I feel like they do it. I think that they did do it for a music video actually, but
I imagine they do,
yeah. So I don't know. If you're bro, You know, if you're like, oh, it's midnight, bro, I'm tired, like I don't want to do any more drum takes. If you're that dude, I got bad news, bro. Like you probably maybe the music industry is too hard for you.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, I'm sure there's other cases of it, but that's just my perspective from, you know, like a mid-tier budget kind of standpoint.
And do the bands have the distribution plan already laid out by themselves, or is something that you help them do? As you said, you're happy to provide opinions on that, but when it comes to like the first approach, how do you deal with that?
We'll always provide guidance for bands. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I played in a touring band for most of my life before I started doing.
In the beginning.
Yeah. So I guess that was like a pretty good aid for me. Was, you know, we obviously released music, we released music videos, we did touring, we were signed to a record label, like all of those sort of things. So I have at least a little bit of insight into, you know, the right way to go about things. And a lot of the music videos from the band that I did previously have millions of views on our own YouTube channel. So, you know, you can sort of argue and say, you know, Colin's just fucking old, like, you know, he thinks he knows everything or whatever, which I'm sure people say, and, you know, that's totally fine, like, whatever. But it's also like, well, the proof's there. The proof's on YouTube. You know, the streams, the views, the size of the band, the record labels, the tours, all that stuff's there. So it's like, if I didn't fucking know what I was talking about, you know, none of that would be there.
Yeah,
so
I think so. And also like how many people shows up at shows, things like that. That can tell a lot as well.
100.
Yeah, for sure.
100, yeah. But I'll always provide, you know, I love the bands that I work with, man. The artists that I work with, you know, I would say at any one time I've got like either 25 to 30 core artists that I'm sort of like working with that are sort of on like a revolving door. We shoot, you know, maybe 1 to 2 music videos a year with each of these artists. And, you know, I'm quite close with all of them, and I work closely with all of them and form good relationships with all of them.
So ideas just flow. There's always some idea hanging around. You always talked or mentioned about, oh, someday we could do X or Y or Z, and then eventually in the future that becomes a music video.
Yeah,
exactly.
Always.
Yeah,
and you know, like
this is why I feel it's important to brainstorm, and this is something a little misunderstanding I get with bands or artists in general, creatives, and is that I like to brainstorm. I like to throw ideas in the air, but not as in like I'm just talking and then not doing. It's more of in like putting ideas out there for me to reach out to later on. You know what I mean, right? Like maybe I might have a really good idea for a specific angle in a specific location, but not for which music video yet, you know? And then like a rapper or whatever approaches me and like he's like, oh, we could do something like that. And then I'm like, oh, wait, that location, and that angle,
you know it.
Boom, you know? Yeah, but a lot of times people take it as in like, you're just talking and not doing or whatever, you know what I mean, right? Like, or brainstorming too much or just being, putting too many ideas out there, you know? And I feel like, I like putting in that kind of homework, and I feel that it really works well when I find another creative in a band or something that matches my energy. And as you say, right, we bounce ideas off each other and so on, but other times I'll find myself in a situation where, as you say, it's like people's like, I don't really know what to do or something. So yeah, and you gotta be direct, and you gotta be like a little bit balls to the wall, as they say, with this kind of stuff, with ideas and how you work, how you operate, to avoid misunderstandings, and you know. Get on with
it's I think that's just creators, man. Where I mean, video people, photo people, we're always framing everything we see. But it's the same as guitar players. You know, they've got like the riff library, which is just riffs and riffs and riffs. They're sort of waiting for the right kind of, you know, place for them to fit and stuff like that. But I'm the same with shots. You know, I'll see like a tree. I'll see a tree and I'm like, that's a cool tree. I could do something with this tree. I'll remember this tree.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Yeah, and then like a year later, that same fucking tree appears in like X music video.
All the time. I got an idea. I saw this tree.
Right. I think it's great for us to make little behind the scenes and like little explanations on how the process works a bit, because it's so informative, I think, man, for bands, promoters, anybody, you know. It just
I mean, that's and you know, I love it, dude. I'm a passionate person, like, you know, we talk a bit, but like I'm passionate about making good visuals. I love artists, I love music, I love cameras, I love creating. You know, I always want to talk about this. I love educating people. You know that I run workshops for Sony in Australia
That's
talking
correct.
about how to make good visuals, how to create good art, how to use cameras, how to use lighting, like all of those sorts of things. But yeah, you know, I'm a passionate person, so I'm always
It's all
going to be
about
down.
putting the passion in it. If you got no passion, then there's nothing to be done here. There
What's
we
the
go.
point of doing anything, bro?
Exactly. All right, dude. I'm gonna leave you a thing. You gotta finish this stuff. Deliver it tomorrow. It's a race against time.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, man.
Always for me.
All right. Talk soon. Yeah.
All right.